Younger people, so cause we've had shows like we did a tour in Canada where the whole tour was like 18 and over, and most of the halls were like empty. So this is better, I guess. You know, I'd rather play early than play to an empty hall.
Of course. And I was just wondering also, Shane, how many young ladies have you been coming to your gigs, or does this mainly appeal to sort of younger guys?
I don't know, it's a few probably here and there, you know. I think it's more, in Europe I think it's more of a sort of male crowd really that turn up to our shows, I guess. It varies really, you know. All the nice looking ones come with their boyfriends and everything.
Now you have been away for something like 2.5 years, and this is your first major tour in that time. And I'm just wondering, what are your perspectives of how the scene has changed in that time that you've been away from it?
There's a lot more hardcore people coming to the gigs, and we played cheaper ticket prices, so that had a lot to do with it, I think. But the crowds are more energetic, I would think, and probably more like pogoing and dancing and stuff rather than, you know, headbanging all the time. It's a little bit of both. It's more mixed, whereas like earlier it was like more like death metal audience or something like that. But
some of those barriers have kind of been broken down, do you think?
Yeah.
For us, I mean, our crowd's sort of broadened now, I think. I mean, last time, 2 years ago, it was mainly a death metal audience, and I'm not sure that it's the album that's got to do with it, but there seems to be a lot more hardcore kids and sort of alternative kids showing up, which is good for us, you know. This is kind of like what we want, really, you know, a mixture.
Well, let's talk about the album, that's what we're here for, and both you guys worked on outside projects in the interim, Meat Hook Seed and Blood from the Soul, and I'm just wondering, you know, doing something a little bit different with other people, did that enable you to bring new perspectives to the Napalm Death record?
I think with Blood from the Soul, for me, it's just something I wanted to do anyway, just on my own, altogether, pretty much. But it did kind of help towards putting some sort of input into the new Napalm album. There's certain things I realised that I could put in, you know, that I did with Blood from the Soul almost, but still trying to keep it with Napalm. With Meat Hook, I don't know, Mitch.
That was kind of very experimental, wasn't it? And you tried lots of different things.
Yeah, I mean, we got that out of our system. I got that out of my system, whatever, and you know, the Napalm thing was, rather than put samples and make it like more industrial or whatever, we just decided to keep it more live, you know, like something we could reproduce, no problem, and just more energetic or whatever. But, you know, we did a lot of experimenting with the other stuff, and this gave us more confidence probably, if anything, to, you know, try different things with Napalm. So we saw that there was a chance, you know, that we could go farther and develop and, you know, bring more noise guitar elements into it and stuff like that, more catchier, intense rhythms, and not relying on speed all the time, you know. So that's cool.
Now, I mean, the lineup that recorded this album is probably the most stable lineup that Napalm has had for probably your whole career. Yes, that's what I was going to say. So I'm just wondering, the fact that you all knew each other a lot better and you'd spent more time together and toured together, do you think that that enabled this record to be a lot more of a band effort and people didn't feel afraid to kind of chip in with ideas?
I mean, it's kind of weird because Barney was in London, really. He's moved down there, so the four of us were kind of working on the music side, really. But it was kind of a lot easier, I think.
Yeah, you know how each other works by now, you know. It was a lot easier to get along and stuff like that. And we all had the same sort of objective in mind, so it was cool. We live together. I mean, we live and breathe the band 24 hours a day, you know. 4 of us live together in Birmingham. It's like,
so we were trying to, do like a different album this time, something that was a step forward instead of just remaining the same, which is not a bad thing, I suppose, but for me, I think it was time for Napalm to kind of move on a little bit.
It's more written for live purposes anyways, you know, so it's been going down really good live. So that's basically what we wanted to do, you know, more beats to get the people moving like that. Sort of.
I mean, when you say that, that it was recorded more with live in mind, did you use any particular techniques, like all jamming together in the studio, or did you use like monitors instead of headphones or anything like that to get that live feel?
Yeah, we use monitors on the vocals, and in the studio, well, the drums, you know, went down by itself, and but it's basically the same typical process. But we tried to get, rather than playing a song 1,000 times to get it right, if we didn't get it with the first 2 or 3 takes, we would just move on to the next thing. Try to get a better vibe, you know, like a live thing rather than a stale, stagnant sort of thing, as you do sometimes.
Absolutely. Now, I am not a person to ask generic questions, but, you know, like, why did you call your album Fear, Emptiness, Despair? But in this case, I do think that the title seems to bear a lot of relevance to the mood of the album. So I'm wondering, what exactly does the album title represent? Is it negative?
Well, originally we were going to call it something else, and at the last minute, the rest of the band decided that they didn't like the title. And lyrically, speaking for my share of the lyrics, it kind of deals with like personal depressions anyway, and problems, you know. Not that we're depressed all the time, but, you know, there's a certain time of the day or the week or the month.
The best time to write music for us.
Just sort of like, you know, you'll write a riff or you'll write some lyrics that just represent a feeling. And at the time there was some campaign for I don't know what, and there was billboards everywhere with Fear, Emptiness, Despair.
Symbolic.
And I just thought they were 3 strong words, and they kind of like summed up the whole concept of the album, and it kind of carries on from Utopia Banished anyway, really. The whole sort of like loss of hope and kind of things, you know, just different sort of things like that, really.
Does it refer at all that the album was difficult to make in some way?
In general, I think generally lyrically, musically, and yeah, I mean, the whole thing was like it was a long, hard sort of struggle, just to like, because we'd been away for so long anyway, and to get ourselves into sort of the mood of like writing an album, and it was a painful process, like, you know, day by day, week by week, and it took us a long time to write the songs for the album and get it together. It was like the longest for us ever, you know. Usually it's kind of a 3-4 week affair in and out, you know. This was like months, you know. Then it was waiting around, but once we finished mixing it, we remixed it, and then we were waiting for 4 months before it came out into the shops.
Whatever, just to get the cover too, you know, at the last minute. The album was delayed and whatever, the video was delayed, everything. But in the end, you know, we wound up with, we're happy, you know, with the product and stuff like that.
This time around, you know, for us, you know, from seeing like 2 years on from the last album, we were just into different stuff, influenced by different things, and we still wanted to keep the identity in Napalm, which I think it does, but we were just like different sort of rhythms and stuff that we were into, to us, we thought that some of the best songs that Napalm had done or we did were like the ones with the catchier slow parts in it, and we just decided to go that way really, you know. I mean, it was our 5th album, and I think after 4 albums of continuous speed, it was like we were kind of matured a little bit, you know. Plus there's 1,000,001 bands out now doing exactly what Napalm did 7 or 8 years ago, and that's cool, you know. I'd rather them just carry on doing that. I'd like us to move on, you know. I mean, people always say we were the innovators of grindcore. I think it's time for us to like re-innovate almost, you know. I don't know.
Good point. I mean, and also it does add a lot more contrast and light and shade to the songs, and it makes the songs stand more on their own, doesn't it? When you're listening to the album, it's not just da-da-da, da-da-da.
I think there's more standout moments, you know.
Some songs like take a while to get going, but they climax, you know. Like pretty much every song I think has a climax, rather than just balls out from the beginning to end. It's just like we build it up and try to capitalize on the, you know, on a certain.
Because now we have like a well of ideas building up now for the next one, you know. But I think if we were to do a Utopia Part 2, I'm not sure where we'd want to be going, you know, or what we want to be doing, I guess. So it's kind of good.
Or what we would actually play live off the album.
You know, on the
We
last
didn't
album.
play much off the last album, you know, because it was like so fast, you know, people just stood there like, you know, and
We kind of get into it and get frustrated because the crowd was like, you know, sort of standing there. They get into it, but it's not the reaction. We want
feed off the crowd, you know, and if we don't get back what we're giving them, we get frustrated, you know, and it's time to rethink, you know, what music is what we want to do.
So we're winding up the European tour here. You've got UK dates at the end, and then what happens for Napalm Death?
Well, I guess we were meant to have like a month off, but we have a show to play every week in that month off, so it's kind of a bit disjointed. And then we go to the States, I think, on August the 9th or 10th, do like a 5-week tour. We're trying to get into him to come with us, but it's going to be a bit tricky. I think they want some time off to work on a new album, so I'm not sure. And then on to Japan, I think. And then hopefully come back to Europe, trying to get on a support to some sort of other bands, so we can kind of like, you know, continue to promote the album, because I think this album could be, it is, for us it's the one that we really want to sort of push, you know. So we're going to try our best to get on some good tours, I hope. You know.
What about festivals in the summer? Any Napalm plans for that?
Would love to do any festivals, but
We're in Holland with Obituary and some other bands, but I think it's about only one, I think. For us.
nothing's really finalized, you know. Maybe it's the agency or something, but if anyone wants to book us a festival, contact Vanessa Warwick.
All right then, well thanks very much for joining me here in Stockholm. Nice to see you guys. I'm looking forward to the show. And it is 5:15, so these guys are going to go on stage in less than an hour. So, no, hour and a quarter, what am I talking about? Quite an experience at 6:30 in the evening, so I hope that goes well for you. We'll see a little bit of the show right now. So thanks to Napalm Death, good luck with everything, and we'll catch up with you again very soon. And watch out for the video, Plague Rages. Napalm Death rocking it up in Stockholm there, and if you'd like to know more about the band or their merchandising, then you can write to the following address. It's Napalm Death, PO Box 905, London SE1 6LF. That's Napalm Death, PO Box 905, London SE1.